Hello everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I just wanted to begin, particularly for our mobile colleagues, by saying something about why communication with crisis-affected communities is actually a fundamental component of humanitarian response, because believe it or not, this is not actually yet accepted within the humanitarian community. Fundamentally, whatever the context, human survival can depend on the provision of timely and accurate life-saving information, such as where can I get clean water, is it safe to go back home? And in addition to this, affected communities have the right to ask questions and get answers from humanitarian responders. They have the right to voice their needs, their ideas and feedback, and take an active role in the relief efforts in their country. And from a humanitarian perspective, communication with crisis-affected people is a cross-cutting function that actually facilitates greater accountability and effectiveness of aid, enhances resilience, and does actually promote understanding between humanitarian organizations and the communities they serve. Yet, I think it's important for us all to acknowledge that despite its potential to actually save lives and improve aid delivery, communication with affected communities is actually not systematically institutionalized within the humanitarian sector. And this has actually coincided with the growing recognition of this fact in terms of the explosion of mobile as a tool to increase communication in crisis situations. So there's sort of conflation, a timely conflation of the two there. Next slide. In terms of the CDAC network, it was actually established in response to this communication gap, and it does actually promote the provision of life-saving information and communication with crisis-affected communities as key humanitarian deliverables. It is a unique cross-sector collaboration, broadly between humanitarian and media development organizations, but increasingly we're engaging with technology and also telecoms providers, hence this webinar today. And this diverse set of stakeholders does actually allow the network to utilize relevant and appropriate media and tech platforms to promote and scale communication in the aftermath of a disaster. The aim of the network, as you'll see on the slide, is that communities affected by or prone to crisis are supported to withstand humanitarian emergencies. And of course, mobile is a critical component of basic emergency infrastructure, as Kyla previously mentioned, and can play a key role in increasing the resilience of disaster-affected communities and giving them a voice in relief and recovery. Next slide. I won't go into the detail here. The network essentially works under 4 strategic pillars around capacity strengthening, research and learning advocacy, and convening. You'll see at the bottom of your slide it says collaboration for action, and collaboration is actually critical to our approach. I think you'll agree that technology and media, including mobile, offer efficient and effective means of enabling communication between crisis responders and those affected. They are advancing continually, yet the capacity of responders to actually make use of new and existing methods does remain low. And I think there's also a critical issue around the fact that historically there's been limited collaboration and coordination between humanitarian, media, and telecoms, which does actually exacerbate many of the challenges in emergency response. Which really leads me to pose the question of how do we actually leverage mobile en masse in the service of aid communities in times of crisis. This slide speaks to many of the opportunities and challenges that we face together, and I certainly begin that we can begin to respond to some of these challenges together, share learning and research, and jointly advocate to ensure that communication becomes a predictable and resource element of resilience and response with the appropriate use of mobile to support this work. Thank you.